So get yourself settled so that you can be really comfortable. And as you're doing that, take a few breaths, tune into your body. One of the real keys or the foundation pieces to being able to be welcoming to our whole experience is that we often have associations of feeling overwhelmed. We're talking about emotions, that would often be the case. 80% at least of the people that I know that I work with have been told many times when they were children that they were too much, that they needed to dial it down and not be so dramatic. And there's so many ways that people try to contain us. And a lot of that has to do with them and their own tolerance and whatever it is that's going on with them. But especially when we're children, we don't receive it that way. We just start to develop that impression that there's something too much about us. We're too intense, we're too sensitive, we're too something. And then we carry that feeling into our adult lives. And another element of this is that intense emotions are intense, and oftentimes they're not very comfortable. We can feel overwhelmed. And then we have our natural tendency to avoid pain. That's a survival system that's built right into our whole body, brain. So, as we're beginning the practice, it can be helpful just to acknowledge all of the different elements, the complexity of emotion, and our experience with emotion through our lives. And then let the words settle a bit. And notice now what's happening in your body, your whole body from head to toes. And that includes our thoughts. It includes the physical sensations, the movement of our body as we're breathing, sounds in the room. And then withdraw your attention from all of the externals and bring your attention right inside. Notice what your whole system feels like inside. And each time we come to a practice, there's a lot that's the same. It's very familiar. And yet it's never exactly the same. Sometimes there's dramatic swings of we feel wonderful some days, and other days we feel depressed or distressed, or something big is flowing through us or gets stuck there. There's so many experiences that we have. And then we're practicing being present with whatever it is that's here. And why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we welcome our whole experience, all of our dimensions of being? And that's a big question, of course. And maybe just for now, we could look at a willingness. And obviously, we have a willingness, or we wouldn't be here doing a practice. So that's something we could acknowledge. I'm willing and I'm interested. I want to know myself. And what that might mean in this moment is that I just want to know how I feel. I want to know what's going on in my body. If you're outdoors, you can feel that fresh air flowing across your skin, maybe the warmth of the sunshine. And if you're indoors, you can remember what that feels like. Our bodies are quick to cooperate with that usually. And as we settle in, withdraw your attention from your thoughts for a bit. We have these kind of layers. One is that we're really aware. There's a mindfulness component to this. We become aware of what our experience is. So when you're noticing your body, you notice what it feels like. What does it feel like to be supported through the back of your body or through the bottom, your feet, your seat? And we notice all the sounds around us before we close our eyes. We notice all the sight. And then we bring our attention in. And we are aware that we're witnessing or observing our experience. There's an activity in the brain of observing. Notice what's happening in your system right now. What is it that you're observing? And notice if it's okay with you that you're having the experience that you're having right now. What is your response to what you're noticing? And that response could come in the form of thoughts, it could be some kind of an energy or sensation. If we notice that we're relaxing and our breath is becoming smoother, we're more likely to appreciate that. And sometimes we come across a kind of an intractable sensation, a contraction. We really, really don't want this to be here. We're sick of it. It causes us all kinds of trouble. And those kinds of things usually have thoughts with them. So if that's happening in your system, turn it around and say the opposite. So if you don't want something to be here, you could say something like, I'm 100% welcoming of this energy in my chest, whatever it might be for you. And give that some room. I'm 100% welcoming of this. And we don't have to give ourselves a A plus or an F, depending on whether or not we're welcoming. There's no need to make ourselves right or to make ourselves wrong. We're just noticing what our experience is when we say those words. I welcome this. And then notice the space this is happening in. Whatever your this is, I welcome. And maybe the thoughts are coming up, I don't, I would like to, but I can't, whatever it might be. And there's usually a sensation or an energy in the body. So let's drop the words for a moment now and come right into the energy in the body. Let the words move way to the background. And if they're pretty persistent, you could tap on your forehead for a minute. Just transfer your attention into the sound and sensation of the tapping. And whatever the energy or sensation is, it might be a wonderful, warm energy in the heart center, or it could be a tight knot of something. Whatever it is, bring your attention there and then notice all the space around the edges of that. If it's physical, notice where you don't feel it any longer. Is it your whole body? And then somewhere out past your body, you don't feel it any longer? Is it a 2-inch ball of something in your gut, but you don't feel it up into your heart or down into your elbows or your knees? Notice the location and the ending where you just can't feel that anymore. Notice what it feels like. Is it hot or cold? Is it moving? Is it still? We're just paying attention to it for a minute. And especially if you're working with some kind of contracted energy, remain aware that there is the energy and there's a space around the energy. Notice where it's located in your body and what it feels like. And then notice why it's here. If it had a voice and you could sit down and have a just an easy conversation with it, let it know that it's welcome. You'd really like to know, why is it that this is here? And then let's give that some time. If there are words or images, memories coming up, and notice what they are. Work with them as we do with thoughts. Put a frame around them, bring them up into your mind's eye and tap on them. Continue to notice your body as well and your breath. And take some deeper breaths. See if that will open up a little bit of space for that to be here. Notice the rest of your body where you don't feel it or you don't feel it as strongly. Let your system settle. And at the beginning, we were talking about emotions that are troubling or that trouble other people. That feeling like we're too much. So, if anything about that resonates with you, then you might take a moment to notice that. What comes up for you around that? We might have associations with it not being safe to feel or to express certain things. And sometimes when we give that space to be seen, we just very patiently, oh, okay, that's part of what's here. It's okay now. I can handle it. It's all right. And we let ourselves really feel that willingness to be present with ourselves. Remain aware that you're looking at these words, you're paying attention. You're noticing the energy and the space all around the energy as well. And what might be wholehearted, welcoming, what might be kind of conditional. Whatever our experience is, we're noticing, we're having an experience, and we're paying attention to it. See if you can soften and allow and open up more space for that, whatever your experience is. And of course, our experience includes our body, our breath, thoughts in the mind, sensations, energy. So you could continue on with the practice, just this kind of gentle welcoming. And maybe you'll bring yourself back to that during the day as well. And it might be the right time to let go of the practice for a bit and rest. We don't even have to have that activity of observing. We could just let everything settle. Let the body be supported in the floor, the bed, the chair, however it is that you're situated. Let your attention flow from your head down into your body, into your chest, and into your belly. And we notice that there's movement with breath. And so often we want something to be different. We want something to go away or to improve. And so, just for a few minutes, let's see if we could let that move to the background as well. Whatever it is that's here, we could just rest with that, let it be here. Notice what degree of welcoming there is that's here right now. We could be kind of practical. If there's resistance, then that's what's here too. If there's welcoming, that's good too. It's all what's happening right now. And we're just holding space for that. And if there's wonder and softness and welcoming, then that's wonderful too. We can give ourselves this real treat of being present without wanting it all to be different. And if we want it all to be different, to just accept that. That's how it is sometimes too. And we're not on a schedule. We don't have to clean things up by a certain date. We could just let ourselves be human and be who we are. And when you're ready, you can bring yourself up and out of the practice. If you want to stay with it for a while, that's of course fine. If you're on the floor, then take your time as you roll over. I like to usually suggest roll to your left side and focus for a moment on the flow of breath in your right nostril. Let your system activate a bit before you come up to sitting.